we'll turn it over to the guy who makes it all work 24/7 for the cafe, and somebody that just makes us all very humbled to be here at the college with, and that is Carlos Espino. Let's give him another round.
Thank you, everybody. Woo. Thank you, President Jones, Senator Fonfara, and thank you all for coming. Tonight, we are sharing an evening of reflection to celebrate the successes of the last 10 years of our work together, not just Trinfo's, but our work together. Before I get too much into telling you about Trinfo, our history, and some of the great people who are going to follow me to say a few things about their connections to Trinfo, I'd like to acknowledge a few people. I'd like to thank Dean Fraden and Dean Chen, Vice President Paul Moutone, and several others from the senior staff for coming this evening. I'd like to also thank many of the faculty members who were able to also make it. I know this is a tough part of the semester. I really appreciate seeing my friend Professor Jim Trossel, who I haven't seen in a long time. And I hope that we could forgive me if I get a little emotional. "10 years, wow. Really, this couldn't be done without a ton of people, a ton. I see my friend Linda Martinez. And so many others that helped even put this event together. We had a small planning team that came together. I want to acknowledge my colleague, Yukshan Lee, who joined us in March. She has done some magnificent heavy lifting. And made a lot of friends at Trinity in the process. I also like to thank Jack Mimnaugh from the organization UCAN, United Connecticut Action for Neighborhoods, Marilyn Rossetti, the director of Hartford Areas Rally Together, Sister Mary Alice Sinkowitz from the Collaborative Center for Justice, my colleague Jason Rojas, and my colleague Michelle Jacqueline from the Communications Office. You guys all came together and helped really make this a reality this evening. Wow. It's really hard to pass this one up in terms of acknowledgments. Really, the cornerstone of our entire operation are our students. We have about 15 students a semester, 3 full-time in the summer, and honestly, they are the bedrock of the entire operation. They work the facility into the evenings and on the weekends. They teach at Trinfo, they teach in the neighborhood, they teach in English and Spanish, and sometimes Portuguese when we have them. They also design and create all of our lessons and curricula. And they are the ones that really should be celebrated this evening. Not just the current crop that we have, but the students that we've graduated over the last 10 years that I hope Trinfo has left a lasting impression on. I also want to thank the network guys over at Trinity, Luca and Brian Adams, the systems guys, David Chappell and Ralford McLean, the hardware guys, Jason, Eric, and Sean, and my good friends, the instructional technologists, David and Greg, and of course, longtime support from the head of the IT department, Peter Sobering and Angie Wolf. And of course, the final acknowledgement is to all of you for being here this evening. Our community partners really are an example of what Trinfo is really all about. In 1999, when I first joined the staff, it was very, very hard to try and convince organizations that technology would be an asset to them. They were averse, they were afraid, they were unsure. And together we yanked them into the 21st century, some more begrudgingly than others. but we're here 10 years later, and I think that it's a testament to not just how important the issue of technology is, but how we can better service the residents of this city. I'm going to move into the program now, and it's just a quick, brief recap of these 10 years, just to give people some perspective. But there's also some people I'm going to acknowledge to come up and share a little bit of their experiences. So I can't really believe that we embarked on this voyage 10 years ago. Actually, in 1998 was when the college first received the initial Kellogg grant of $5 million. $2.5 million came to Trinfo Cafe. I think that was really a testament to our then director of IT, John Langland, whose vision it was not just for Trinfo, but the larger digital divide effort known as the Smart Neighborhood Initiative. This cerebral thing people really couldn't wrap themselves around, but Trinfo was a place they could. They could visit, they could come, they could enjoy a cup of coffee, a nice political conversation, enjoy chatting on the web, surfing, learning new skills. And that became known as the Smart Neighborhood Initiative. And since 2000, when we first brought together the initial crop of 14 churches, we have grown to over 135 groups that we've worked with. As President Jones mentioned, in 2004, the Kellogg grant finally ran out, and it really was a demonstration of Trinity's commitment in terms of picking up the operational costs and moving it onto the hard budget of the college. That was really, really an important sign that the college valued the work that we were doing in the community, and that the college itself had to be a good neighbor. We've gone through many evolutionary phases throughout our 10 years, where we began yanking those community organizations into the 21st century with a lot of infrastructure and hardware. Our second phase was about human capital development. It was about training people to use all of these goodies that they now had. And in that time, it was really where Trinity students stepped up. They have designed all of our computer literacy classes to meet national standards, so that when the 3,000 people who have taken our classes can feel confident putting it down on their resumes, that this is a legitimate skill that they now have and that they can employ in their jobs. These Trinity students really have also grown as we entered our third evolutionary phase, and that is really linking our work back to the college. We were designed to be a community development organization in the beginning, and in 2006, I was asked to begin doing more work on the campus, and I always describe it as we were really successful in paving a multi-lane highway out into the neighborhood, but had a dusty dirt road coming back up to the campus. And over the last 4 years, I spent time paving that road back up to the campus, and so as a result, we really have been doing a lot of work with faculty, with students on independent studies, on their internships, and their community learning placements. Community learning at Trinity is a kind of course that integrates going into the neighborhood or going into the community as part of the regular course design. So they're getting the classroom theory and then going out into the neighborhood and putting that into practice, or at least testing it out to find out whether it's valid or not. So I'd like to begin by inviting my friend Tim Green, who is the coordinator of the Montessori after-school program, to tell you a little bit about his experience with us. This is truly our most elaborate and long-standing relationship of 7 years now, semester after semester, summer after summer, of having Montessori kids come over to Trinfo Cafe. They literally are the ones who push us to pioneer new programming, new lessons, new units, new curricula. And so, everyone, please put your hands together for Tim Green.